This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam in for Jeff. So Tori, feeling good now?
So much better. Day starting off great.
Okay. All right. So let's begin because Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, were spotted out together amid speculation that their marriage is in trouble. They were seen attending a movie event in Santa Monica over the weekend with their kids. Now later they went to Soho House, which is a private members only club. So this is the first time cameras have caught the two together in months. This comes after all the headlines about their impending split. Multiple outlets have reported that Ben had moved out of their house and that JLo was spotted house hunting without him. So we talked about this last week, Steph. You weren't here, and we had different, some people said, yes, they are over. I said maybe he's just doing a movie. I know he's directing something called Animals right now, so perhaps their schedules weren't at the same time. What do you think?
They are both incredibly successful and very busy people with very full lives and also children with different partners. So there's going to be times, of course, where they're not together. I don't think that's crazy unusual. And I think obviously if they want to buy another house, I'm sure it's not the only property. It's not like us regular folk looking like we have to make this biggest decision of our lives. For them, it is pocket money, isn't it? So I don't think it's as big a deal.
I think they're done, though.
You do?
Really?
For sure. Do you think it's because of Jennifer Lopez's past with how many marriages she's had?
Not only, I don't think it's about their past. I just see them not looking happy. There's
I feel like Ben always looks kind of unhappy.
That's true, but photogs recently gathered around them and they did this weird smiling thing, and Ben tried not to look, and he was like, and it just felt like they had
But he's always been like that.
Right, but it felt like they called the paparazzi to get them to be around them. He also went out without his wedding ring recently. I think they realized this second time.
Much of a big deal.
I think it is when you're JLo and Ben Affleck.
The reason I'm leaning
JLo doesn't wear her ring all the time.
I know.
But Steph, I want to ask you this because I was in your camp, and then I've been kind of leading like Team Tory on this one, just because that whole thing, like where there's smoke. I think about like
what smoke?
The tabloids are picking up sources saying they're really unhappy.
Every couple they follow is famous. You think at sometimes Rihanna and A$AP Rocky aren't on different parts, but there's no stories about them getting divorced.
Rihanna and A$AP Rocky are not nearly as a couple as famous as JLo and Ben Affleck.
I don't know about that.
I love Rihanna and I love A$AP Rocky. They are not globally even comparably as famous as JLo and Ben Affleck.
Right now, currently, if JLo was that famous, why is her concerts not doing well?
Yeah,
well, you can talk about fiscally. I'm talking about tabloid fodder.
I'm saying there's a lot of famous couples. Those couples are all successful in both halves of that couple. They're probably separated 6 months out of the year sometimes. Why this couple?
I agree.
Why this couple is everybody like this doesn't look good?
And sources accessible,
people care.
And you got to think, you got to think Jay-Z and Beyonce. There has been times where there's been secret camera footage in a lift where it has been going down and we do not know until it's secretly revealed because they're very private. A$AP and Rihanna, very private. I feel like JLo releases full-on albums about every single aspect of her life, and they're very open. They're a lot more accessible, I feel.
I agree
but because of that, I think
Steph.
Just quickly, I'll end this in saying they haven't been on the red carpet together. For a couple that likes to look and feel choreographed,
I don't think he does.
I think he does. I think he wants to do his own thing. She is the glamour, the diva, the star, and I love her for it. And he's a bit more like off doing his own thing, and that's all right.
They're donezo.
Oh, Tori. All right. So it is standing ovation season at Cannes. It is. Kevin Costner, in fact, returned to France with 5 of his kids for the premiere of his new movie Horizons, which he has spent years making now and put in his own money, I guess, millions of dollars. Inside the theater, Kevin got emotional and teared up after his film received a 7-minute standing ovation. Demi Moore showed up to Cannes wearing this Schiaparelli gown for the premiere of The Substance. It's the first time one of her movies has ever premiered at the festival.
Amazing.
And the film received a 13-minute standing O, but some reports said it was only 11 minutes, okay? Selena Gomez wore this black and white off-the-shoulder gown to her premiere. She also got emotional during her standing ovation. That was reportedly 9 minutes long. And Emma Stone wore this gown with a plunging neckline to the premiere of Kinds of Kindness. Inside, Emma made some goofy faces during the film's standing ovation.
This is me.
Her.
This is me.
I love her. She's
Cameras also caught Taylor Swift's famous ex, Joe Alwyn, who stars in the film. Okay, so Steph, you have been able to go to Cannes. Tell us about it. Tell us about these standing ovations. To me, they are ridiculous, but I know that it's part of it.
Ritual. It's kind of expected when you go, and you can't be the only person that's not sitting down and doing it, because literally, when I tell you, there are people ushering you like, get up, get up.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's like you've got to do it.
Does everybody get a standing O? What if you don't get the standing O?
Oh, no, that wouldn't happen. No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I'd be horrified. No, that would also be really shameful.
Every star gets the standing O.
I think everybody gets it. It's not anything particularly special, but I do think some people get it a bit longer than others.
Wow.
And I think Kevin Costner, for instance, was crying only because his critics have been a little hard on Horizons. He's put about $34 million of his own money. He spent years making this. So a big validation to have the art critics
I actually
around
think
you.
if I was that famous to be my movie at Cannes, I wouldn't actually take that as any form of validation.
Because it's just by rote.
I just think it's just the status quo, you know? It's just what happens when you're there. It doesn't really mean you're going to win anything. It doesn't mean you're up for an Oscar.
What would your standing O face be?
I think
That would be amazing.
I would just find something in the room to stare at.
Everyone's clapping for you for 15 minutes. What do you do?
I would find something in the room and stare at it. But I would know. I would know ahead of time.
At some random
Like
place?
just like there's an orange lamp kind of hanging above. Yeah. So I just.
Oh my God, yeah, how awful. Oh, you're pretty good now. You've got it.
Yeah, you just keep your eye on a fixed thing, and that way you can
Tori
acknowledge.
would love it.
I would.
You would
Yes.
live
They would
for
start
She
it.
would be
sit
like
down
Hulk
and I'd be
Hogan and just like, let me hear the right side. Yeah.
I could see Tori going through the stall, shaking people's
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Blowing kisses.
Yes.
Don't stop.
Shaming
Shaking
people. Oh,
fingers.
sitting down already, sir? Okay.
I love
Anyway.
it.
True. Some people have their alarm clock set instead of music, but to applause, so that they wake up to people clapping.
That's kind of a
I've
good
never
idea.
heard of
Isn't
that.
that cute?
Is that you?
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah, some people.
Coming up on DBL, we are chatting with John Oates of Hall & Oates. He's telling us all about his new music, and does Britney Spears need a new conservator? We're talking about the new reports that point to more issues with her mental health.
You too. That's so funny.
Welcome back to DBL. All right, a lot of you are wondering, is Britney Spears in need of help? Well, a report from TMZ says Britney has been in a tailspin, their quote, ever since the conservatorship under her father ended. It says Britney isn't taking her meds, has been drinking and using drugs, and her mental health is in jeopardy. Now, meantime, Melissa Joan Hart is speaking out about their friendship. Back in the day, Melissa starred in Britney's Crazy video, if you remember. The song was featured in Melissa's movie Drive Me Crazy. She told ET she wishes she would have looked out for Britney more when they were younger. Watch.
Britney and I got to do a lot of press together, and we had a lot of fun together during this time.
You really took her to her first
I
night
did.
club,
I think I did. Yeah. I saw that she was just surrounded by people, never able to break free. And I was like, hey, want to come? I would go to a club every night. I loved dancing and I loved going out. But I also knew to be responsible and like when to stop and when only one drink and all these things. And she was underage and young, but I just was like, let's go out. We're just gonna go out and have some fun. And I feel really guilty about that still to this day because I should have known better being a big sister.
Listen, I'm going to, please, if you want to say something about Melissa Joan Hart, but, you know, I commend her for years later looking back at that moment and having regrets. I think we all have regrets. Britney now, because we've all called for this Free Britney movement, right? So, Tori, you have said from day one, her father should not be her conservator.
Correct.
Where do you stand now?
So the big problem is named, you might not know the name, but is Jody Montgomery. That was the conservator that was put in charge of her personally. And Britney was okay with that. She was an independent woman. She was a social worker. She'd worked with fiduciary companies. And
Was she fiscally or personally?
She was personally only. Jamie had control of the cash all the time. So when I wanted Jamie away from the cash, I have always said I wanted Miss Montgomery, so did Britney, to stay in charge of her. The judge in 2021 ended that. And I don't know why, and I'm unclear. And Miss Montgomery said she would have stayed on had she been asked. Clearly, she can't be alone. She cannot be alone.
But a lot of people are in this. I'm not sticking up for Britney Spears.
Right.
I'm just saying I want to push back because when you look at the definition of a conservatorship, you have to be like literally in a coma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
or
very
you have
difficult.
dementia so severe that you cannot make any sort of decision.
Sure.
A lot of people, unfortunately, suffer from substance abuse issues, mental health issues. Usually they go hand in hand because you're trying to self-medicate, especially if you're off your medication, allegedly. So is it a conservator? I mean, or is it just, unfortunately, this is what we deal with?
And in a weird way, our systems in general, whether it's poverty or mental health, the catch is for people that are really at rock bottom.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when we talk about poverty or mental health, it's people that are in the gray area. You might have a couple good weeks and then kind of lose the thread a little bit and be able to come back and hold down a job. And when it's those people, it's a lot muddier to try and figure out, well, Steph seems fine. Why would you need anything? It's like, oh, but 2 weeks ago we had, so I think that it's a tough place for the state to be put involved in because they're like, this isn't our job and we don't have the resources to assess every problem. But I look at Britney and I feel helpless, as I think we all do. Like, what do you do, Steph, when somebody's bad, but they have enough resources to stay afloat, but that might be what takes them
Then
out.
publicly making fun. I feel like she's also publicly making embarrassment of herself, unfortunately.
I don't think she obviously realizes that's what she's doing. I think she finally feels as though she's got her voice back after not having it for so long, and she is pushing that, I think, to the extremes, and I think that's probably partly why her husband left. But what I feel really bad about for Britney is I just feel like she's been constantly exploited, whether it was financially by her father in the conservatorship, which was like, she felt so hopeless to a point of almost no return. Now she's been given her freedoms, and I feel like it's gone the complete opposite way. And then I feel like now, because there is no one protecting her and protecting her finances, it's like almost like, she's just being attacked left, right, and centre, and people are taking such advantage that apparently, I read allegedly she might have got no money left. Like, she's gone through everything. And then, so now there's no return. Like, who's going to care for her then? Who's going to look after her then when there's no
financial incentive?
Yes, because I think people take advantage of her left, right, and centre.
Her family, hopefully.
I just hope she gets the help that she desperately needs.
We all hope she gets help. We'll be right back. Welcome back. John Oates is one half of the best-selling duo of all time, Hall & Oates. He's also a well-accomplished solo artist. Earlier, we talked to him about the inspiration behind his new album and the moment he decided to shave off his iconic mustache. We are so excited. John Oates, welcome to DBL.
It's great to be virtually here.
Yes. Virtually is very exciting. John, you have a new album out. It's called Reunion. Talk to me about what's the story behind that title.
Oh boy, it's a big story. My dad is 100, and we saw him a few months ago, and he wasn't doing too well, and he told me that he was going to be reuniting and having a reunion with my mom, who passed away many years ago. And it was pretty powerful. It was a powerful message. There he is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
But I thought it was very powerful. It hit me emotionally, and I started thinking about it, and I said, you know, not only is that going to happen, but considering everything that's been going on with Daryl Hall and the fact that I'm not going to be working with him anymore, I needed to reunite with myself. I needed to rediscover who it was that I was. You know, after a 50-year partnership and relationship, you know, you kind of sometimes get lost in that. Yes. And I needed to basically rediscover the roots and the musical influences that made me who I am. And that's what really this album is really all about.
That's good for you, John.
I think artists always need to check in with themselves. So congrats on you being able to recognize that and then do it. Because now you have an album. Yeah. And I'm curious to know, when people listen to this album, what do you want them to take away from it?
I'm making ready for my reunion.
Well, I think that what they're going to do is it'll strip away any preconception about who I am as defined by the 80s, as defined by MTV, as defined by all those pop hits. Because sure, I was that, I don't deny any of it. But really deep down inside, my true musical self has a lot to do with American roots music, folk music, blues, the early days of R&B. That was what I brought to the table when I met Daryl Hall. But the personal side of who I am as a musician never really left me. It was just kind of idling in the background, I guess.
We got a whole new chapter coming up. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So, John, along with being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's okay. You are also in the Mustache Hall of Fame. A bigger honor. But you actually shaved your face in the 90s. Can you tell us about that moment you decided to shave everything off?
You know what I learned very early on? I've been on the road too long when I start cutting my own hair. As soon as I start cutting my own hair, I know it's time to go home. But so what happened was I was in Japan. We were invited to do a celebration of John Lennon's with Yoko Ono and a bunch of amazing artists. And the night before I was supposed to fly home from Tokyo, I just was in the hotel room looking at myself, and I went, dang, this got to go. And I just shaved it off and walked into the airport the next day, and everybody fell on the floor. They had never seen me without a mustache.
Wow.
But, it's one of those things. It's kind of back, attached to a little goatee.
Oh, it looks good. Looking good.
I have to jump in for 1 second, Erica, and just say, as somebody that I've done stand-up professionally for 20 years, some of those years, 40, 42 weeks on the road, I've never heard anybody speak to that. It's so true.
So you felt
my
seen.
goodness, I have gone to a Sally's Beauty Supply, gotten a mirror, and been cutting my hair and being like, what are you doing? And then you'll mess your mustache up, and then that's got to go, and you show up at the show, and everybody's like, what's going on with you? That really spoke to me in a strange way.
Thank you.
I don't know what it is. It's so true.
Well, you know what? Good. So I'm not the only crazy person out there.
We're all crazy at the highest.
One of Hall & Oates' most known hits is Man Eater, and there's a piano version in Jennifer Lawrence's latest rom-com. How does it make you feel that your music from the 80s is still being listened to specifically by the younger generations today?
It's amazing. And you know what? It's not just the music from the 80s. It's also the music from the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, we have this incredible catalog of music that is time-tested. It resonates through the generations. And really, when you're a songwriter, that's where you put the bar. If you can achieve that, then you've done something very, very unique and special. I love the fact that the songs are being used in unique ways in movies and TV and commercials, etc.
Yep, they live on forever. Sure. John, thank you so much for joining us on DBL. Congratulations to our viewers. John's new album, Reunion, is out now, and he is on tour For tickets, visit johnoates.com/tour. Thanks again, John. Thank you. We'll
Keep
be
that
right
hair
back.
long.
That's right. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Too much to give, 'cause it's bound to live for the thrill of it all. Oh, you're a rich girl, and you're gone too far, 'cause you know it don't matter anyway. And you can rely on the old man's money.
Welcome back. We all know that eating nutritious foods can help keep your weight in check, but experts say what you eat first thing in the morning can also help with joint pain, inflammation, and improve your mobility. So what do you all eat for breakfast? Tor, what do you eat?
This is going to sound embarrassing. A digestive biscuit dipped in coffee.
No, you don't.
Every day.
Disgusting.
Every day.
That's like what a sheriff would have in the morning. Just in his car. Yeah.
And I like the texture getting a little warm.
Yeah, it gets a bit soggy.
Steph, what do you do?
A bit of a soggy biscuit.
Yeah. I like it.
Are you a toast girl?
I love eggs on toast in any variety, but my ultimate favourite is a cup of tea, 1 sugar, dippy eggs, and Soldiers. So you've got to have soft-boiled eggs, gooey, and you've got to have buttered toast, cut no crusts into little tiny dippy things. Yeah.
It's better than mine.
As you eat right for your health, don't
Absolutely
forget to
disgusting.
support your joints. Something that can
gross.
help your joints is Omega XL. It's a powerful joint support that's helped millions of consumers and is backed by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of celebrities, athletes, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-814-6985 or visit omegaxl.com for more information.
Can you imagine
What do
like
you-
just
what-
dipping a piece of bread and then the egg? Yeah,
You don't like eggs.
So what do you eat then? Every morning, what do you eat?
I make oatmeal in my rice
Drink
cooker.
some honey?
I have.
You sound
awful.
I had a
We're
bunch
both
of stand-up
sad
shows this week and I
about
lost my
right now.
voice. I'm
I don't
sorry.
buy it. I
I'm
think
out
he's
there.
sick.
I think
I'm
you're
not sick.
I think you are.
I think you're sick.
I'll go home.
No kidding.
It's too late now. It's in the day, but yes.
There's daggers in his throat.
I know. DBL's new every day. We'll be back tomorrow,
Hate
same
us.
time, same place. Bye, guys.